Welcome to my DIY video. My name is Prisca and I'm sharing this video with you because I love to DIY and I figured why not share some of my projects with other people who may like DIY. This is the first of a series of DIY videos that I will be doing for items that I wanted for myself, and for different reasons I decided to try them out. So one, I like to DIY. Two, I like to use my hands. Three, I like things when I like them, and for most of those items I would not be able to get them right away because one of is COVID, so there's quarantine and lockdown, and some of the material I already have, so I might as well make them since everywhere is shut down and only places deemed essential like pharmacies, grocery shops, supermarkets and so on is where you can get these items. And lastly, I like things to be unique to me. So if there's a theme in my mind, there's a scheme of how I want the thing to look, then I am inclined to get it, either create it for me or to create it myself. One reason, this might not be fair, like if you're going to try to recreate this, or if you're going to try to make it yourself or a version of it yourself, the only thing that may not be fair is that I already had a lot of the things on hand because I DIY all the time, and because I usually have to customize things for when I do events like weddings or any event that I host or I do decor or planning for. You have to customize things a lot of the times, and sometimes you just cannot get it in time when you want it, so it forces you to be creative with your hands and with your styling and so on. So in this video I am going to attempt to do a wine rack. It is a hanging wine rack, and I fell in love with it and I saw it online. It cost about 80 to 90 US on Amazon, which would, by the time, because of the weight of it and size, the dimension and so on, if I ship it and I pay shipping, freight, clearing, handling, all of that, it comes to almost 300 EC. But if you were to buy the material and create it, you would probably spend about 70 EC to create it, so that's $230 less, which is another thing. I like to hold my money, like it's my money. Like if I work hard for it and I can keep it, then I'm going to keep it. The only thing is I just need this to be as refined as the idea is in my head, and I need it to not replicate directly what I saw online, but I need it to look similar enough to it, so it has to be refined. I don't want something, because I'm going to place it in my kitchen, and I don't want something ugly hanging in my kitchen for my drinks. They don't deserve that treatment. We are going to need, it's not, maybe about 6 things. Let me show you those I can actually reach. So some nautical rope, and I probably have about 7 feet or so. It was not very expensive. It's not more than $5, I think. And then some spray paint. This I chose because I also have yellow in the kitchen, and so the theme is a palette of gray, silver, yellow, and some earth tones. So this is a textured paint, and this textured paint is going to be the finishing of the cradles for the wine rack, and the cradles are going to be made out of PVC guttering. I'll show you the full guttering. I'm actually going to be cutting. Another way that I'm cheating in this DIY is because to cut the guttering, the simplest way, especially if you're stuck at home, is going to be with a handsaw. That's the easiest thing. Like most people have a handsaw, or if you don't have a handsaw, your brother has one, your cousin has one, your neighbor has one, your grandfather has one. I am going to be using a circular saw because I have access to one at Dream Bill's Joinery, and because I don't want to use a handsaw, so I'll be using a circular saw to cut my PVC guttering when I get there, because I have it there already. So when I get there, I'll show you. We'll cut it up, and I'll come back here to assemble it all together. Okay, so this is my PVC gartering. There's the round type and then there's this type. I took this type because I like the shape. That's not true. The round one would be more work because usually they come in a full circle and then you would have to slice it. I think some of them come as a half circle as well, but depending on the type of bottle you want to put in it, it might not work. This shape can take, because you know some of the wine come in boxes, or if you put in like a whiskey that's in a box, so that works better for that. So what I'm going to do, I have two pieces. One is about 6 feet, one is about 8 feet, and I'm going to cut it into a piece that a regular size wine bottle can fit in. That's about a foot, I think. I don't know, I didn't measure it, so you're just playing it by ear. That's a foot? That's a foot? I don't know. That's about a foot. So we're going to cut it this way. I am measuring a regular size wine bottle. That's the 750 milliliter bottle, to use that as a guide for how long I want each cradle to be. But I'm making the length just a bit more than the bottle because I have to make allowance for attaching the nautical rope to the ends of the cradle. So safety comes first, but since I did not walk with the ideal face and eye shield, my sunglasses will do. For the rack, I want about 8 spaces, but I'll be cutting about 10 to 12 pieces in case I can add more cradles with the rope I have, and also as contingency because, you know, whenever you're using power tools, because I have to use the drill on them, some might break, or maybe they don't get sprayed the right way or anything. So I'm just cutting a couple more than I actually plan on using. Now remember, for me, the PVC, I did not have to go and purchase it. So some of mine are a bit scratched and dirty. So I'll just wash them off, and then the coats of paint will take care of the rest. So now what we're going to do is drill it and spray them. Let's go. Let me not spray your foot there. To spray the cradles, I'm using my silver metallic paint, spray paint, starting with a good old shake, and I'm going to be doing 2 coats of silver on both the outside and the inside of the cradles. And then I'm going to go over it with the textured spray for the finish to look the sandy, rusty kind of look that we actually want. Hey. Oh, and unlike me, do not forget to wear gloves. The next part was drilling, using a bit, just a bit smaller than the rope, so it could fit snug in there when I was ready to fish the rope in through the holes and then to tie it. If you don't have all the stuff that I'm using and it doesn't seem realistic to you, it'll take a bit more time, but a really, really hot glue gun tip can actually go through the PVC and give you the hole that you want. You just have to be careful not to burn yourself, but that can work fine too. One thing, when I was done with the spraying, I noticed that the end of it, the corners, to get it more finished, I used another silver metallic paint that I had with a very small brush, and I just went over it just to make sure that I had a more polished finished look. Like from whatever angle that you look at it, that you would see either you're going to see silver or you're going to see the sandy finish. And then I started to pass the nautical rope through each of the holes, and I tied a knot after each cradle to secure them. And when I was done, I hung it up, and voila. One thing I found is I was concerned my drinks would fall because it tipped over just a little bit. So I reinforced it with a smaller twine that looks similar to the nautical rope. So it's like a thinner version of the same rope. And I found if I had used, I considered using the same size, the Nautical rope, but I found if I had used that, it would look too bulky and take away from the look of it. So I went for the thinner version. And then I put my drinks in, and not just wines, as you can see. And that's it. So the hanging, suspending, whatever it is, I don't know, I just love it, wine rack looks like something I would buy, and I'm happy with it because it's $230 less than if I had ordered it. So it was time and $70 well spent. Well, less than $70 for me, but $70. So I hope if you try it that it comes out looking really good as well. If you try a version of it, you don't have to use the same one, the same stuff that I use. It occurred to me that you can use bamboo, and then you probably won't have to spend money on spraying. Bamboo is everywhere and it's free. So if you do try it, let me know. Or if you have any other DIY that you have done that you think is a good one that I could probably document in one of my videos, let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and looking forward to sharing another one with you. Bye.